And over the same topic, and for more details on this very important visit, we're very delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mohamed Amer, Coordinator of International Relations and Conference. Good morning, Dr. Amer.
Good morning. How's everything? It's a privilege to speak to the Egyptian television.
Right. Let us first assess this particular important visit and the timing of the visit also.
Of course, the significance of the visit itself comes at the specific juncture, which is rooted in the recognition of the Egyptian state as the indispensable anchor of stability in an increasingly volatile Middle East. Of course, at an international scale, we can witness the shift toward what we call regional pragmatism, where major powers like Egypt, Turkey, and also other countries realize that their cooperation together is now no longer just a bilateral preference, but it's indeed a regional necessity. I also believe that it's, again, the backdrop of the global shifts, what happens in the Middle East, including the modern or the new United States administration, and evolving dynamics in Eastern Europe and the conflicts between Russia and Ukraine. I believe the Cairo-Ankara axis provides a much-needed balance of power, or what I also prefer to say, it's an anchor of stability. So by using this relationship, or by benefiting from such a relationship, which is now closed, through the second meeting of the high-level Strategic Cooperation Council, I believe both nations, both countries, both states are now signaling to the whole world that they are ready to move forward beyond normalization of relations into a new phase of deep strategic alignment, which now can effectively manage the regional shocks against whatever happens around us.
Right. Talking about the bond between Egypt and Turkey and the bilateral relations that have been shared years and years back, how does this visit boost the relation and also build on for future cooperation?
No, of course. I believe the visit itself marks a historic transition from the phase of diplomatic normalization to the phase of institutionalized strategic partnership. Now it's not a relation, it's partnership. The most significant point in here, or the evidence of such evolution and development, is the convening of what we call the second meeting of the high-level Strategic Cooperation Council, as I mentioned, but it happens here. It happens here in Cairo. But by signing some joint declarations, wide-range set of memoranda of understanding in sectors like defense, trade, energy, agriculture, I believe both nations, both countries have moved beyond solving both differences to building a new future-oriented framework. This is no longer a relationship based on occasional coordination, but I believe this is now a new managed phase through high-level institutional mechanisms like the planning group, as I mentioned, which is dedicated or designed to ensure that the partnership between both countries is now sustainable, looking for the future, structured, well-structured, if I may say, and also resilient to a lot and too much external shocks.
So assessing the one-day visit, and then there were very important activities that were held aside this visit. There was a business forum, and there were treaties that were signed, memorandum of understandings, and other things also.
Yes, exactly. So I believe the visit now comes at a time which provides an existential example of the new Middle East. In the field of diplomacy, where regional heavyweights are prioritizing collective stability and economic integration over ideological competition. We are now witnessing the emergence of a powerful Cairo, Riyadh, Ankara triangle. This triangle between Egypt, Turkey, and also Saudi Arabia. This stabilizes the axis that can manage regional files, not only in economy but also in politics and in trade and in different files. And it moves from the eastern Mediterranean to the Horn of Africa, by the way, without the need to getting external interventions or inviting even superpowers like the United States or even other powers. But the symbolism of the reception itself at Al-Ittihadiyya Palace and the historical visit, I believe this comes at a very sensitive time, which provides even more regional and international depth to the visit. And speaking of the high-level strategic cooperation council between Cairo and Ankara, this signals glglobal power. Egypt and Turkey now are turning into global powers, especially at the regional level. And with the cooperation of other superpowers like the United States and also the European Union, the Middle East itself is now increasingly capable of self-regulation in different fields. So if we're talking about reactivating this particular cooperation council between multiple countries, we're talking about an event-driven diplomacy that turns into a system-driven partnership between multiple countries. So by focusing more on this relationship at different levels, at the high level of the state, these are two presidents. So under the direct chairmanship of both presidents, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and also His Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the two nations now have created like what we call a permanent architecture or a roadmap for cooperation at different levels. So we are signing a memorandum of understanding today and even tomorrow, spanning defense, health, energy. They can in the future be translated into what we prefer to say measurable results with a clear insight and timeline for the next council meeting, which will happen, by the way, in Ankara, and if I remember, in 2028.
Right. Speaking about the timing, how does this visit going to probably rebalance the political equation in the Middle East, especially with the timing of the threats that is being waged by Israel towards Iran, and that is it's also given the fact that Israel is backed by the U.S. and all what's happening inside the region?
Of course, I believe the visit itself signifies what we call profound psychological reset in the Middle East, not only between the political establishments in Cairo and Ankara, but also throughout the whole region. We're moving from a state of mutual suspicion to one of strategic necessity that will control the whole matters in the region. But by co-chairing the high-level strategic cooperation council, this will not only focus on the bilateral relations between the two countries, but actually we are dealing with matters in Gaza and matters with whatever would happen at the Iranian level, and also in the Gulf, and also in the Horn of Africa. This cooperation recognizes that neither power can achieve its goal, but it will focus more on peaceful tracks that we can follow, not only on those countries, by the way, but also in Libya, Eastern Mediterranean, in Gaza, as I mentioned before. Without coordination and without consent of the other, there will be a lot of problems. But I believe this visit, there's a lot of cooperation between both countries in order to, I prefer to use the verb coordinate the efforts in order to settle a lot of problems. The Middle East is now suffering from a lot of issues, as I mentioned, but this is what we call psychological reset of the whole region, led, of course, by the two presidents and the two nations.
Right. At this note, we'd like to thank you so much, Dr. Mohamed Amer, the coordinator of international relations and conferences. Thank you so much for talking to us on the Breakfast Show. A short break and we'll come back to you, so stay with us.